Okay, so what we're going to do at this step is take our green and our yellow paint and create some botanical fodder for our Hullabaloo hoops. So take your 9 by 12 inch watercolor paper and split it into 4 pieces or just in half, whatever makes sense to you. And we're going to start with our yellow just to get a nice base down. You don't have to do it this way. If you have a way of making leaves or botanicals that works for you, you go right ahead and do it. I'm just going to show you how to use the green and the yellow paint, pardon this little blank spot in the video, my camera fell, to make some fodder for the background of our Hullabaloo hoop. So here we have some yellow down. Now we're going to add a little bit of green in and get that looking a little bit abstract. Foliage is the whole point of this exercise. If you happen to have fodder available on some heavy paper that is already green and yellow, or some old flower art that you may have done, you can skip this step and just use that, and when we get to tearing and assembling, you will use that instead of these pre-made botanical sheets. So if you want a quick and easy way to make your botanicals, take your green, put it on one side, and then marry 2 of your pieces together. And there you'll get a beautiful print that takes way less time. You don't have to think, you can just press and use. So for the floral 2D flowers, I'm going to call them, these are the flat elements. The coffee filters create a beautiful 3D full shape, but sometimes we need to fill in our space with something a little flatter that is still florally. So you can see that I've loaded my palette with some white, some green, some blue, some red, and some yellow. You do you though. If there's a palette you would prefer for your flowers or a style, if you're into daisies and you want to do white, you could totally sketch it out in a Sharpie pen instead of painting. There are a lot of options. I will explore more of those on my Instagram, but for the sake of time and just not overwhelming you, we're going to do some very simple block flowers where I've just loaded my brush with red and yellow, and I'm pressing down to create the effect of petals around a yellow heart. So here I'm making more of a rose-shaped flower just to give you some variety in design, and for that I've done some yellow centers and I've just loaded my brush with a bit of red. I'm not worried about perfection. These are just filler flowers that will help to fill up any gaps in the Hullabaloo hoop and allow our 3D fluffy flowers to shine. All right, so I also did some in blue off camera. You feel free to explore whatever flowers you want. We're not going to use all of these. A lot of this will end up in your fodder pile, which is great because Hullabaloo hoops are made to be taken apart and reassembled when the mood strikes you. So definitely don't feel overwhelmed if you've got a lot of leftover. There's more hoops you can make, or you can hang on to it and use it for collage or something else down the road. So now that you've made all of your flowers and your fodder, put them aside, let them dry, and we will move on to the assembly portion of our Hullabaloo hoops.